What's up, YouTube family? This is Prince Donnell, founder of the Jumping Jack Tax franchise. I appreciate everybody for watching this video. You're in for a treat. Today, we're going to be talking about how much you should be paying yourself as a small business owner, as an entrepreneur. That question, how much should I be paying? What's the number? And we're going to talk about that today. Before we get into that, first and foremost, I appreciate all 83,000 subscribers who are currently in the family as of today, who have been watching videos, showing love, commenting, liking, sharing this with your family and your friends and your other entrepreneur buddies, and just learning about taxes and business finance. And I'm glad that I can share this information with you. For those who are not subscribed and this is your first time watching this video, you're in for a treat on my channel because I drop so many videos from LLC to S Corp, when to move into LLC, when to move into S Corp, how to price your product or service. So anything business finance that you need assistance with, and then also give you more of that consultation type of feature as well, where a lot of times we need assistance with growing the business. And of course, with my experience in entrepreneurship for over 5-6 years, running a franchise and seeing a lot of the aspects on the tax end, this is a great channel for you to plug into. So please subscribe if this video becomes valuable to you. And lastly, as well, if you need your taxes completed, personal or business, if you need life insurance or you need bookkeeping, we have some amazing programs and some amazing professionals that are within our franchise that can assist you. Please send a text info to 267-792-0185. Text info to 267-792-0185. And also for everybody that's on YouTube as well, you can follow me on Instagram, Prince Donnell, PRINCEDONNELL. I'll drop it here below in the @ and follow me on IG. I drop a lot of daily content as well outside of the YouTube channel. But with that being said, let's jump into it now, right? How much should you be paying yourself as a small business owner? It's a question that's difficult to answer. It's a question that you never really have the exact number because it's based on so many different factors when it comes to your business. Obviously, since I don't know your business and you're just starting out, it's so hard. So I'm going to take you through a process of questions that you should be asking yourself and give you a thought process, right? I want to give you a thought process that you can start thinking about so you can make a better decision on when it's time to pay yourself, how much to do it. Okay. And I'm excited. Let's go ahead and get into it from here. So, this is a question that's asked a lot. I get a lot of direct messages. I get a lot of comments in the YouTube, and they're like, Don, how much do I pay myself? Right. So just to start off, I always answer that question with a follow-up question that I'm going to ask you as of right now. And this is the first question I think that you need to ask yourself before you start the business. And if you already did, go back and ask this question and act as if you're starting from the beginning. Here's the question I want to ask you. With this business that you're starting or have already started, do you intend for this to be a side hustle that you want to use to fund your lifestyle and you intend to move on from in the future? Or do you intend for this to be a business such as an enterprise that you plan to keep for the next 100 years, pass down to your family, and become the next Apple, Amazon, or Walmart if it makes it to that level? What do you intend for the business to be? And that is going to define how much you should start paying yourself from the very beginning. Okay. But you have to understand that. What is your goal here? Because I meet some entrepreneurs who never intended to build this corporate infrastructure, have over 100 employees, multiple locations, and building a brand like an Apple. There's a lot of entrepreneurs that are like, yo, I don't want that responsibility because it's not for everybody. There's some entrepreneurs who are just like, hey, I want to start this business. Let's say I'm good at e-commerce or I'm good at drop shipping and I know how to make money in it and it funds my lifestyle and it allows me to take that money to put it into other opportunities, but I don't want to take it anywhere beyond that place. Then you got the person that's thinking enterprise, right? So somebody like myself building a franchise, I have every intent to build an enterprise, right? Something that's going to last over 100 years. So my thought process is going to be different than the person who is just using it to hustle and to really generate more revenue for themselves to be able to go to move on and use it as a stepping stone. Jumping Jack Tax is my only stepping stone, right? Like this is my only one until this is either sold or I'm taking this for the home run. So that's the two type of people that I want to talk about today. And depending upon which type of individual you are watching this, after listening to what I just said, you have to make that decision. Which one are you? I want you to write this down. Are you the side hustle or are you the enterprise? Either answer is correct. And there's no one that's better than the other because it doesn't really matter. Generating revenue is generating revenue, right? So I want you to write that down. And now that you know which individual that you are, as of today, right? And every business is different too. You might find a business that might be an enterprise. You might find a business that was just intended for side. Each business is individually, you have to ask yourself that question, okay? Now, with that now, let's go ahead and move into these two types of people, which will summarize how you should be paying yourself. So to start, let's say that you're the individual that intended to start a side hustle. Now, what I mean by the side hustle is that I intended to start this business, but I'm not giving 100% of my time to this business. I'm using it. I know how to make money in this arena, in this skill. It makes money. And with it making money, I use that money to be able to invest into other opportunities, whether it be the stock market, real estate, other businesses. And I might have 4 or 5 different businesses going on, different side hustles rolling that are generating me a lot of revenue. And for that individual, if that's you, great, because I want to talk about you right now. If you're that type of person, then my recommendation would be to take 20 to 30% of your profits off the top, right? Pay yourself first, right? And use the rest of the money outside of the profits that you pay yourself to actually fund that business. It's called the profit first system. I wasn't the one who created it. There's a bunch of videos on YouTube talking about the profit first system and how you pay yourself first, and whatever's remaining after paying yourself that 20 to 30%, you're going to use that to actually have as the cash flow of the business to be able to handle your expenses, to be able to grow the business and different things of that nature. But you're paying yourself first, okay? Because you're using, since it was intended as a side hustle, you're not going to leave all of your equity inside of the side hustle. I want that money immediately. I want to reinvest it into other opportunities for me, right? And I think that's a great strategy for you. 20 to 30% of your profits. And I want you to start doing that from the very beginning so that the business can already get used to you taking 20, 30% of profits and you knowing how to operate off of the remainder of that 70, the business knowing how to operate off the remainder of that 70%, right? And then the 20-30% is really just based on what you can afford at the time. I think 30% is kind of max. Again, depending upon your profit margins, which I don't know what your business is, you could go a little higher if your margins are more spread. But you just want to make sure that if you are that side hustle person, that obviously after taking your 20, 30%, don't overdo it because you obviously still need the business to be able to manage and stand on its own feet. And you don't want to have to take some of the profits that you took from the business to put back into the business because the business can't handle its own liabilities. So that's the only thing I say for that. And you just continue to do that month over month. Every month, draw profits from the business. And the only way you could draw profits is, of course, you need to make sure that your books are in order, right? Because you don't know what your profit loss is and what your bottom line is. So make sure your book's in order. Set up a bookkeeping account, connect with a bookkeeper. We have them at Jumping Jack Tax so that each month you know what your profit loss is. You pull your profits, you make sure your taxes are paid for, and you do whatever you want to do with that money. Ball out, go on vacay, start other businesses, whatever you want to do. Okay. So you do that at the end of each month. So that's the strategy that I would have for somebody like yourself. Okay. You don't plan to stay in this business for a long period of time. And then you have your second person, which is the enterprise person. So let's say somebody like myself, who I've made a conscious decision at this point that I am going to stick with this business for over 100 years. I consciously made that decision. You have to, if you're going to move into enterprise, you have to really embrace that lifestyle and know that you're making a commitment for a long period of time, right? And this is not a commitment that everybody is willing to to take on. It's a huge task building a brand. It's a huge task now building employment and corporate locations, and that's huge. It's a lot of responsibility. I'm stressed out half the time, right? So it's not for everybody. But if you intend to take this road that's less traveled, then there's some things you're going to have to give up that I'm about to talk to now. Now, first, like I said, for those that are moving in the side hustle, you're taking your profits off the top. You're paying yourself first. You're paying the business second. Now, if you're moving into enterprise, if you want to build the Apple, the Amazon, the Walmarts, and the CVSs of the world, if you get to that place in life, then the business is going to take damn near all of the profits and you're getting what's left. The business takes everything. Right? Because let's think about this for a second. If you're moving into enterprise, there's a few things you need to now think about. You're going to have to now build infrastructure, right? And when I say build infrastructure, you're going to need staff. With that infrastructure, you're going to need corporate, depending upon your industry. I needed the locations. I need staff. I need a marketing team. I need, like the business will predict what you're going to need to continue to build that infrastructure for you to build that type of brand. And a lot of money is spent in infrastructure, millions of dollars, right? You're going to need to be able to, if you're going to build a brand to last 100 years, you're going to need a significant amount of cash on hand, right? To be able to weather the storm. 100 years is a long time. You're going to have to weather the storm. You're going to need cash on hand, such as a lot of businesses couldn't make it through the pandemic because they didn't have enough cash, right? If you were a side hustle, that didn't really matter to you because you were going to start another business anyway. But for those that were lasting 100 years, you needed cash on hand to cover during pandemic, right? When sales dropped. On top of that, I need cash on hand when economic changes arise, right? Like the economy changes. What do I do? So you're going to need cash on hand. You're going to need infrastructure established, and that costs a lot of money. And on top of that, you're going to need to begin to position yourself as a competitor in the market, right? You got to be one of the top 3 to 5 competitors in the marketplace now, right? How do we do that? Cash, right? You have to buy your way into market dominance, right? Like in order for me to create a dominant franchise in taxes, like I'm competing with other big tax franchises that have 50 times the amount of liquid cash that we have on hand at Jumpin' Jack Tax. So I got to get to that level, and you got to pay to play. So with that now, for that enterprise person, knowing that you have to build infrastructure and you're about to put your life into this, now what happens is you can't afford to take 20 to 30% of profits out of your enterprise to be able to pay yourself. It's irresponsible, okay? The business will never be able to flow because the business need cash in order to go fast. So what happens at this point on is damn near all of your profits need to go into the business. And from that point on, my suggestion is to only, if you're full-time in this thing, to only pay yourself enough to make sure your bills are paid, that food is in your fridge, that you have a little bit of cash in your pocket to be able to move. That's what you need to do for the next 5 years minimum, right? To pay your bills, food in the fridge, a little bit of cash in your pocket. Anything beyond that is irresponsible for the next 5+ years or however long it takes for you to have enough cash established to be able to build, however long it takes for you to build your infrastructure to a certain level to where the business has consistency, to have a marketing team to where your marketing is consistent, to be able to be able to make sure that your bills can be paid for the next 12 months if necessary for the business. Like these are things you got to think about, and you need significant cash to do that. So pay yourself just enough, rest of the profits go into that business, and you're building up and you're building infrastructure and you're reinvesting through that business for the next 5+ years, right? You have to build a foundation for yourself, a very strong foundation so that it can last 100 years, which is a very long time. Okay. So you're going to be living off of pennies while your side hustle people are going to be balling out. And I think that that's the place that we really have to think about, because when you're on social media, you're looking, like a lot of times we could be discouraged because if you're in the enterprise world, you could get discouraged by individuals who are making a lot more cash than you at the current point of time, and their lifestyles are looking different than yours from an enterprise because they're operating the business differently. Right? But if I'm in an enterprise, I really got to mind my business and not get FOMO or the fear of missing out or seeing other people have all these crazy lifestyles and Lambos and different things, because that's not where I intend to go as of today. My goal is going to be 10, 15 years from now down the line when I was able to build an enterprise that's now doing 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 million dollars a year, right? Because I was disciplined, I was consistent, the business has enough cash, we were able to build infrastructure, we were able to acquire other companies and other systems and data, and now I have a very solid company that can last for the long run. But again, that decision has to start from the beginning, and you have to ask yourself, do I intend to profit today, or do I intend to profit tomorrow? That decision will decide how you're going to be paying yourself as a small business owner, right? You have to make a decision for yourself. I'm not going to give you a number. Again, my recommendation, just to recap this video and end this off, if you're side hustling from the beginning, 20, 30% of your profits, pay yourself first. Do what you got to do with that money. I would suggest reinvesting your profits into other opportunities, into other forms of passive income, such as real estate and stock, and building up your dividend portfolio and rental income and different things so that your business can become passive. Since you are running a side business, you want to create passive income. And if you're going enterprise, you're going to be shorting yourself of profit and only paying yourself just enough at the moment to build infrastructure and to build your marketing and to build market dominance. And then in the future, now at that point, as your business gets more consistency, as more profits start to come in, and as your bottom line, your profit loss statement starts to grow, now at that point, you now can start making an informed decision on how much the business can afford to pay you as a salary, because it's consistently hitting its targets and its KPIs, its key performance indicators that are necessary for you to know that the business is in good health, that the enterprise is in good health, and that it can take care of its bills, it can grow and different things and still pay you a salary at the same time. It took me 5 years, right, to get to the place now where the business is essentially paying me a salary. 5 years, right? But again, and everything I'm telling you guys is something that I've already gone through and I've learned. And even then, my salary is not even out of hand. It's literally enough to be able to make sure that my lifestyle is taken care of, not something crazy. And again, everybody's lifestyle, of course, is different. But it's to make sure it's taken care of, but nothing extravagant beyond that place. I'm not vacationing every single month. I'm not driving a Lambo. I don't got a huge mansion down in Atlanta and multiple houses and condos, but I made the decision to do that. And there's nothing wrong. You have to make that decision to decide what life you want to live in the beginning or which life you want to live in the end. Okay? And that'll define what your salary is. So I hope that these questions and these thoughts that I was able to give to you today really makes you think, right? Because as an entrepreneur, you need to know how to think to make informed decisions for yourself that will affect your ultimate future, right? And to end it off, I'll end it off by telling you guys that always think from back to front. Always think about your end goal first and your exit strategy before you go ahead and start making decisions in the very beginning. Since I know my exit strategy and I know my end goal when it comes to the franchise and I know where I want to be in the very beginning, I made a decision on how I want to operate and how I want to treat myself as a small business owner and how I want to treat everybody else that's around me as a team, right? You have to do that in the beginning, okay? And with that being said, I hope this video helps. Please make sure that you watch additional videos if you need help tax-wise. I have videos on LLC versus S-Corp. I got videos on establishing an LLC, what you should be doing before setting up the LLC. These are all things that are going to help you. Big tax write-offs for small business owners. Watch those videos, plug in. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, Prince Donnell as well. And share this video with your friends so that they can get their thought process around what they should be doing as well. With that said, y'all have an amazing day. See y'all next video.